Man, these were new shoes. Well, at least I can work on my science project. I call this Storm Drains 101. Watch this water. Runs down the sidewalk, down through the gutters, and into here. This is what they call a storm drain inlet. That's because it lets the water in. Inlet lets in the water. But the water doesn't just stop there. You want to know where it goes? Here. This is what they call a ponding basin. They're all over town, you know, Fresno, Clovis, right? Most of the water that goes in a storm drain inlet comes out in the ponding basin. However, the water doesn't make a pit stop at some water treatment plant. It comes straight here, untreated. Remember that. So I guess you're wondering, well, what does this have to do with me, huh? Well, besides the obvious birds living pond basins and fish swimming canals and people playing the river kind of reasons, there's also this, groundwater. Most of the water that we use at home, at work, and at school comes from the underground aquifer. How does that water get down there? From the surface, ponding basins, canals, creeks, rivers, the water is absorbed from these places and becomes part of our groundwater. And that water is pumped into our homes for us to use. Whoa, 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 what are you doing? Think about it. If you dump that used motor oil or your car drips oil on the driveway, where does it go? That's right, the same place that water goes. Now, every year, something like 200 million gallons of used motor oil is tossed in the trash or leaked onto driveways, dumped on the ground, or poured down storm drains. And that oil affects our water big time. Let me show you what I mean. Hold this. Let's use this glass of water to demonstrate. Say this glass of water is a ponding basin, and this drop of oil is the oil you've got in your pan there. Watch what happens. Ew. Yeah, that's disgusting. Now just imagine what happens to the animals who have to live in that water. Now, did you know that used motor oil can be recycled? In fact, it takes half the energy to make motor oil when you recycle this stuff. And there's even a number to call if you don't know what to do with your motor oil. So, you gonna stop dumping oil? Good, and tell your friends too. Got it? On this way. Excuse me, did you know that lots of people use pesticides and fertilizers at 20 times the rate that farmers do?
No.
Yeah, and that's not really good for your garden either. I mean, think about it. If you pour pesticides and fertilizers all over your lawn, and then you overwater your lawn, or maybe it rains, where do all those excess chemicals go? That's right, the same place that water goes. Now let me show you what I mean. Hold this. Let's say this cute little plant is your lawn. And then you pour pesticides and fertilizers all over your lawn. And then you overwater your lawn. Now, your hand is the gutter, and your arm is the storm drain.
Oh, this is awful.
I know.
Oh.
Now, if you really think about it, you don't have to use that much lawn chemicals on your lawn. In fact, you can just use very little of this stuff, or even use something else that's not so toxic. You cool with that?
Yeah.
Good. So let's review. Anything you put into a storm drain goes where? That's right. The rest of it is just common sense. Paints, pesticides, plants, even fertilizers and litter. You know, you might think you're just one person or just one family, but when everyone thinks that way, your little trickle of pollution can turn into a great, huge environmental mess. And all these substances and more can find their way into our storm drains. And from there, they can pollute the water that we drink every day. So, you figure it out from there and do the right thing.